Welcome to the third episode of Bollywood Talkies with Outlook. I'm your host, Mitrajit Bhattacharya, and my guest tonight is a huge star and one of the finest actors of our generation. She has worked in multiple movie industries and worked her way to the top, basis her acting craft and hard work, and totally on her own. Most importantly, both critics and cinegoers love her and her work equally. She has hit the Saand Ki Aankh yet again with Thappad. Let me present to you without wasting any more time, Taapsee Pannu.
Hi,
Welcome Taapsee to Bollywood Talkies with Outlook. You are my
thank you.
first
Thank you so
guest
much.
who's a woman and an actor. So let's get rolling.
Oh,
Take us through the journey. I'm sure it'll inspire many who are currently on the same boat as you were when you landed up in Madurai with a cat book in your hand on the first day of shoot around 10 years ago.
it is, uh, first of all, it's going to be quite unpredictable, whatever I'm going to say, and it might just sound like too convenient or easy or too, it's too much of luck involved in it. But where the credit is due, I must give, there's a lot of luck involved, along with the fact that I didn't take opportunities for granted. So I never wanted to become an actor. I was, in fact, that geek front bencher student in my school and college. Was doing my software engineering and realized midway through my engineering that this desktop might not be the ideal thing for me to do. I might just do my MBA and then use something, be get into something more creative. But again, a regular job, not like something so different like what I am in right now. So that's when I started modeling side by side along with my engineering just to earn some extra money because it was I belong to a very regular middle class family, and it was like I wanted to shop and my parents were like, no, you can't be spending that much, and you'll learn the value of money when you'll earn it. So I thought might as well let's earn it and see how it is. So I wanted to earn myself is why I started modeling, not acting at that time. And I modeled for about a year or so, where I did get a lot of big brands to model for, and again, all print ads because my parents were not very excited about this profession as such. So they were, letting me only shoot whatever I could in Delhi, and in Delhi always used to have print ad shoots, not commercials. Then slowly after when I got selected in Miss India is when my pictures went all across the country and I started getting calls from South while I was doing my engineering that they wanted me to come and try and act in films there. And I was very clear to them that neither do I know your language, nor do I know acting. And I've never acted even in a school play or a college for me to know anything about acting. And they were confident that they'll teach me. So, but then compromising on my education was never an option for me. That was always my first plan in life. So I thought I'll finish it and then I'll give it a shot like an experiment in life. Because I wanted to drop my 1 year after the college to prep up for my CAT. I gave my first CAT attempt, which was around 88 percentile, which I was not very satisfied with. I thought I can probably do better. And I was placed in Infosys, which was probably the first company that came in my college for campus placement in my third year. And that was just again to just reserve a seat in case it, and plus show it to everyone that if I want, I can do this. It's just that I choose not to do this. So yeah, so that's when I go after my college. I didn't join Infosys because the idea was never to do an engineering job, and I took that 1 year off and took the permission of my parents, and I was like, let me just give it a shot for the sake of fun. I'll learn something new and come back, and anyway I have to complete my MBA, which can be done only a year later, but maybe I won't get this opportunity a year later what I'm getting right now. So that's how it started off in South, reached Madurai all by myself, not with my mother, not with any family member, as what was expected probably, just because I thought it's time I could start taking the control of my life in my hand and learn making my own mistakes. It was not like I thought I knew it all and I know it all. I wanted to make my mistakes and learn from it, and that's exactly what I did. Did not know the language, did not know anything about that state other than the basics. But I reached there, nothing. I didn't have any idea about acting whatsoever. And I think that particular set, I was probably the only female on the entire set. I didn't have, I mean, there was no female I could see even in the crew. So that was like a weird, challenging environment in a way. Not that I felt intimidated or anything, but it was a new space. Let's just say I was a sheep in the big city in that environment, and it took me a couple of years to get a grip on what exactly is happening here, how exactly you choose films. I made my own mistakes. I learned from them, never repeated my mistakes. It took me around 3 years to figure out, okay, this is how things happen. And then in 3 years, I got an opportunity in Hindi. And again, it was pure by luck. It was not like I applied for it or anything. Someone recommended my name when there was a requirement of a certain kind of an actor. Uh, and I went and I met the director and producers, and it was not even an audition that was taken, thankfully. Otherwise, I would have failed. I've never passed an audition in my life because I'm not a trained actor, so I can't audition when they say, "Okay, this is the camera, these are the lines. Just now, just say it." I don't have that talent. Um, so yeah, so I went out there and just jumped into it again, the Hindi boat. And then there onwards, people have been seeing the journey from Chashman Badur, and nothing has been planned because whatever I planned in my life never really happened. Otherwise, I would have been sitting in an MBA job, in a marketing job somewhere right now if things would have gone according to plan.
So when you came to Bombay, Mumbai,
Hmm.
when do you think, according to you, you finally made it in the industry? That's one. And second is, does success give you a new identity, particularly in a brutally honest Bollywood?
You know, first to answer your first question, yes, I felt that I have arrived when I started seeing people coming to, for example, like when Thappad was written, it was written keeping me in mind. That makes an actor feel that you've arrived when you feel that there is a script written for you, keeping you in mind. Otherwise, there are scripts, and then many actors are considered as options for that role, and then it eventually goes to the best possible fit. But yeah, so Thappad was cast when Thappad was written. It was written keeping in mind. Actually, even when Naam Shabana happened, it was quite a surprise for me and for everyone else around, because never it had happened that a spin-off was made out of a film. And I was too new. I was just 3 films old at that time, and for me to have a title role so early in my career with those kind of people being a part of the film was quite a big thing. So from there onwards, I guess from Pink onwards, people started monitoring my journey. It just kept getting better and better. And if you say arrived, yeah, when I saw my name on the poster of Thappad saying Taapsee Pannu in Thappad, though I get intimidated with that visual because I get scared seeing that there is a fear of becoming bigger than a film. I feel when an actor becomes bigger than a film, downfall starts. So that's a fear I always had, that I should never become bigger than a film. So that name, seeing the name on the poster was in a way gratifying, that okay, you've achieved something in life, that your name can be there. Otherwise, you usually don't have actors names on the posters. But at the same time, it was quite scary to see.
Like, in the sense, does success give you a new identity altogether? Because Bollywood is very, very commercial. Like, in the sense,
Hmm.
till you are successful, you are treated in a different way. So how has
Hmm.
success changed that perception towards you?
I think that's not just with Bollywood. I guess in life in general, when you're successful, success has many fathers. Just say in Hindi we say "Chढ़ते सूरज को हर कोई सलाम करता है." So that stands true for every industry and anything in life in general. Uh, so yeah, so it does for Bollywood. Now people like I'm probably the same person with, yes, I mean, I've grown over time in terms of knowing about whatever's happening around in my industry, but I'm more or less a similar person, but now people do listen to me and take me more seriously than what probably they used to. Um, it does matter if I say yes to a film or no. It does matter, in terms of the fact that okay, they think that it's me or no one, kind of a scenario. In films, that gives you that confidence that okay, it's because of the success that today people feel it's either you or they cannot make that film with anyone. Those kind of things. So yeah, so these things do give you the confidence, and I think that's when I said, there's a very thin line that you're walking with success. The moment you feel or you behave as if you've become bigger than a film, is when that downfall is going to start. And success is making you reach closer and closer to that thin line. And till the time you're treading that line, it's okay. The moment you drop on the other side, and that's going to be the end of it all sooner or later.
So who pulls you back? I mean, who keeps your sanity?
I think I have a life beyond films, which has been constant throughout, and I've never said that films are the my life and I breathe films. And I think the fact that I never looked at myself in the mirror while growing up and said, "मैं heroine बनना चाहती हूँ," या I want to be an actor. I treat it like a job. So I go to work and I come back home. And when I'm
Mhm.
at home, nobody at my place has any connection with movies whatsoever in my
That's
family.
right.
Uh, so we don't have these discussions regarding films at home. And for them, I'm the same person. For me, they are the same people because they've got nothing to do with films and they're not really those film obsessed people also. So they don't really think movie stars are like demigods. So all this keeps me grounded. Plus, I've been sharing this joke with my sister. I move out in my balcony, out on my balcony. I can see I have three graveyards in front of my house. And when I go out there, I can clearly see what everything is going to end up in. So it really gives you a reality
That's
check.
that's a little morbid. I mean, we'll not go there. Your body of work is very interesting. Like you have Anurag Kashyap, Anubhav Sinha, Neeraj Pandey, Tony Roy Chaudhary on one side. You have David Dhawan on the other side. I mean, how
Hmm.
different are these sets? I mean, how? I mean, tell us a bit about. I would say. I mean, they are really diverse set of directors and filmmakers.
Yeah, that's because I am an audience to all of these people. I've chosen my films basis. Will I go and watch these films spending those 500 rupees or the precious 3 hours of my life in theater or no? That has been the criteria. The first criteria to say yes to a film has been that. Then comes, my character, or what will I learn from the film, and so on and so forth. But the primary reason for me to consider a film is, will I spend my time and money on it? And these people have made films where I have spent my time and money to go and watch them in theater, and that's why their kind of cinema attracts me.
Every time you do essay a gutsy character on the silver screen, like be it Shabana from Baby or Naam
Mm,
Shabana, Meenal from Pink, Dadi from Saand Ki Aankh,
mm.
Amrita from Thappad, Rumi from Manmarzia, or Aarti from Mulk, which character has left you with a lasting impression and why? First is, do characters leave lasting impression with you? And if so, which ones?
Most of my characters, which I have done in last 3 years or so, have left an impact, and they do uh, because of my lack of training in acting. I started using the method of psyching myself out into believing I'm that character. So I have to just brainwash myself. So when you do that, you do have to face the repercussions of that. Yes, you see the positive side of it, that the probably the presentation of it looks so real that people end up believing genuinely what I'm portraying on screen. That's because I have very, very strongly psyched myself out into believing I'm that person. And but then the problem comes when I have to get myself out of it. Uh, they do leave an impact, and all of the characters that you mentioned have left an impact. I realized that this impact is happening on me when Meenal happened. When Meenal, after Pink, I it took me a little time to understand how what is happening to me, because I became so vulnerable in real life. I started breaking down very easily in my real life. So when I used to just see a beggar on road, I started breaking down. I when I used to just see a Vande Mataram or Janagana Mana recital on television, I used to break down, and I was like, these are regular things in life I've been seeing for years. Why am I behaving like this? So I think I realized I've probably just touched that nerve of myself, which has made me too vulnerable, because I was constantly psyching myself out into believing I'm a molested victim. So that's when I realized that this is going to take a toll on me and I need to figure out a way to get out of it soon. So, I disconnected myself a little bit for a few days, went out for a holiday, totally disconnected myself from work and life here for a couple of days, and then came back and then resumed life, got into the next film, and then again you end up doing a character which again plays a little with your brain. By now I've become a little pro at handling it, but in the beginning it was quite a torture, because every time I came back after shooting a film, I was a different person. And I could see that from my sister's reactions towards me, because she's the person I come back to at home, and she used to tell me that it's freaky to see you like this now. And then it's, when I come back from a different film, I behave differently. Even my dressing style at home changes when I come back from a certain character. It does impact me, and probably that's a small price I have to pay, that I can never wash out 100% of that character from my brain. Some 5-10% of it will stay with me forever and will alter me a little bit every time I play a character like that. That's how it is.
I'll slip in at this stage the first two questions from audience, and I think I've merged both of them together because they both talk about your characters in films. So Ramandeep from Chandigarh and Jia Mehta from Lucknow, they asked, the first one is, which among the characters you have played so far is closest to you in real life? That's the first question. And the second one is, how did you transition from Shabana Khan in Naam Shabana to Parkashi Tomar in Saand Ki Aankh, which is pretty much similar. So first you answer which character is the closest to you as a person.
I think I'll be a slight mixture of Meenal and Rumi. I'll be Meenal because I am that person who would want to stand and question what is wrong, regardless of everyone believing that I shouldn't be standing and talking about it. The other why I feel Rumi is because I am very spontaneous in life. I do live with full heart, not regretting in life. Even if I end up making mistake, I own it up, because right or wrong, it's my life. I learn from my mistakes, but I'm not that confused in life like Rumi is. So there are differences, but I'm like a mixture of Meenal and Rumi.
And the second one was, how did you transition, like in the sense, okay,
See,
I'll add a bit, like I'll add a bit, like, are you a spontaneous actor or are you a method actor? Like, do you have a pattern in how you
no,
approach
I'm a
a role?
spontaneous actor. I'm a spontaneous actor. I don't rehearse much. I don't butcher a scene by over prepping it.
Right.
Once I have worked on myself, which is not in any workshop, it's just me talking to myself and just thinking about it over and over again, that I am this character. I just go out and perform. So most of the time it's a boon and a bane together, because boon sometimes because you get spontaneous reactions that you probably will not
That's right.
get when it's rehearsed. Bane is when you are working with other actors who like rehearsing.
That's right.
Like for example, Mr. Bachchan loves rehearsals. He wants to rehearse it
That's
and get it perfect to the T before he goes for
right.
the take. Whereas I feel I get spent when I'm rehearsing. So I can't rehearse. Otherwise I'm gonna get my energy is gonna go down by the time the take happens. So it's a boon and a bane at the same time. So it's my directors who I always want this thing, and they have to find a way out to how they're gonna tap the best out of me without exhausting me.
Since we are discussing about Mr. Bachchan and he has been a co-star with you for two great movies like Pink and Badla, tell us a bit about how is he as a co-star.
I think he's the best part is that he's so flexible and ready to adapt to the changes. Why probably it's been 51 years and he's still going strong. Because unless and until you adapt to the changing times and the kind of actors or the kind of people you're working with, technicians you're working with, you probably cannot survive the way he has survived. So the best thing about him is he's like that water, who can take the shape at different times according to the people he's working with, which is so amazing to see that he's taking orders from his directors without being thinking about he's the Amitabh Bachchan. Nobody would even think of telling him what to do, but people do. Like both my sets, Tony Da, Shujit Da, or Shujoy. I mean, I've seen them instructing Bachchan sir just the way they've been instructing anyone else on the set, and he's been following the instructions just like any other actor would, without making him feel like you're talking to the legend. So that is the best part about him. And then I switched off that button in my head that he is the Amitabh Bachchan in the first film, first day itself. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to go through these two kind of films and the kind of roles I have to do, perform opposite him. Especially, I'm so glad I did Pink before Badla, because Pink, at least we were on the same side of the table. Badla, we were on the opposite sides of the table, and I had to be challenging him time and again. And that would have been quite freaky if it would have been if I would have been intimidated by his presence. I'm so happy I wasn't, and I had built this rapport with him where I saw him like any other co-star. He treated me like any other co-star. I don't put him on the pedestal. There is probably what gets that connection going, because I don't treat him like this demigod of or a legend, and I treat him like my cool co-star. And probably the fact that he doesn't feel awkward that I'm not treating him like a demigod gets that chemistry going between both of us.
Fantastic. Okay, now my next question is on Thappad. Thappad is obviously definitely one of the finest movies to have released in 2020. Are you satisfied, and do you agree with the character? Because there has been interpretation about the action taken by the protagonist. And first is, are you satisfied with the way the film was received? And second is, do you agree with the character?
To answer your first question, yes, I'm very satisfied with the way the film has been received. At any moment, any film, you can always say that it could have done much better or it could have done worse. But do I feel that people loved it and I'm happy with it? I am happy with it. But at any given point, there will be expectations higher or lower. So I can't like always keep judging it like that. But I'm very happy. I've gotten one of those films where I've gotten some insane amount of heartfelt love notes, messages, I don't know, calls from so many people from so many different backgrounds. So yeah, so that film definitely makes me feel happy and proud that I was a part of that film. And the other thing you asked me if I agree to the character, well, I am not Amrita. Amrita is too white. She's too patient. People have asked me that what would you have done if you would have been there. I'm like, I'm too impulsive in comparison to Amrita. I am very gray compared to Amrita. I'm not as white as her. I would have probably walked out the same night. So we can always keep debating about what she did was right or wrong, but it was her story. And Thappad didn't intend to tell you what to do. Thappad intended to tell you do something. Because in the same film you have a character of this maid Sunita, where she doesn't walk out of the marriage, but she changes the face of it by asking the man to earn so he can behave like the man that he wants to be, rather than spending her earnings and then beating her up. So in the same film you have two different ways women have handled this. So I feel, it was never hinted at telling you what to do. It was her journey. It can be right, it can be wrong in your eyes, but the idea was to tell you that this is not okay, it's not normal. So you need to do something about it. And whenever I have done any character challenging the social norm of the society, which had started from Pink itself, where we had a lot of people saying, अगर ऐसे रात को जाके ऐसे ड्रिंक करेंगी बाहर लड़कियां तो फिर ऐसा होगा ही ना, which people still say. So I think whenever you challenge a social norm, you will have people who will stand on the other side of the fence and argue with you. My problem is not with the argument. My problem is, let's start the argument or discussions or debates. At least let's not shove it under the carpet like how we've been doing it for years. So I have no problems with people who are not in agreement with us. I only have problem when people don't want to discuss it and want to snub it every time.
2020 is supposed to be a very, very big year for you. Obviously, things are moving a bit tectonic shift because of the lockdown and stuff like that. You have Haseen Dilruba, Loop Lapeta, Sabash Mitu, Rashmi Rocket. Now, what is the status on these films? Like, in the sense, you have started work on some of them, some are yet to start. Like,
Haseen
any.
Dilruba is close to finishing. Like we have only
Right.
like 7 to 10 days of work left with the Haseen
Yeah.
Dilruba. that's when exactly the lockdown was called and we had to urgently fly back. So we are left with 7 to 10 days of work. And Haseen Dulba was scheduled to release in September initially. Now with the things changing, it'll all get rescheduled. But I mean, there's very like last bit of shooting that is left there. Loop Lapeta, which is Run Lola Run's adaptation in Hindi,
That's right.
that and Rashmi Rocket both will have to be rescheduled totally, because Rashmi Rocket was supposed to be based out of Kutch, and Loop Lapeta was supposed to be shot out. Most of it is outdoors, as everybody knows about the film, in Mumbai and Goa. And with rainy
Wow.
season coming in and some summers, we are in summer and then rainy season. I don't think I can shoot both of these films unless the weather cooperates with us. So we'll have to reschedule these things. I have, fortunately or unfortunately, I had signed or said yes to some 5 to 6 films, and I'm not even now I'm not in a mood to let go of or barter or trade any of these films for anything else, because they are just so different and unique. I have to do Kashyap's film next, which Kashyap wants to shoot in the rainy season. So if we start shooting in raining season, probably I'll join his film, which is a supernatural science fiction thriller film concept that probably Indian cinema hasn't seen as yet. So that, and then after that, I have Shabash Mitu, which is Mitali's biopic. Again, that requires a certain bit of training. And with this lockdown, since we are not able to go out, I'm not able to train in cricket. So that, all of this needs to be rescheduled on table uh, once we have an idea when can we start shooting.
I would want you to name one underrated actor in our industry and why. I'm not asking overrated because that's something which I don't want you to answer. But an underrated
Uh,
actor who you love to see but has probably not got his or her due.
you're talking in terms of leading actors?
No, you leading or strong character or leading
There,
would be better.
there are a lot of strong characters, because there are character actors who've been like not been the leading actors, but they are probably crowd pullers in a lot of ways. So I think that list will be very long. But if you talk about leading actors, you know, um, I wanted to see much more of Irfan sir. It was just such a wrong time, bro. I mean, this was the time when it was his time. It was like finally there were films, like people, obviously people who followed cinema always knew about him. But this was the time when the regular mass audience was getting to know who Irfan Khan was and how he's changed the kind of heroism that is shown in films and what heroes are all about. And so I really wanted to see more of him. This was, I feel, was a golden time he was entering in, and it was very unfortunate whatever happened. Apart from him, I think I would want to see Rajkumar Rao, uh, you know, at even better place from where he is. I feel he deserves to be, because he's quite versatile, like he is. So I feel probably he is still yet to get the kind of due I feel he deserves to get.
Let's move track a bit. In the West, celebrated actors like Meryl Streep uses a forum like the Golden Globes to make a powerful politically charged statement,
Hmm.
where she goes on to say Hollywood is crawling with outsiders and foreigners. If you kick them out, all you will have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts. Here in India, we don't find many from the movie industry taking a strong stance as these. Your take.
Because Hollywood people don't have actors' houses being pelted with stones. You don't have their families being threatened, and the kind of threat that can actually pose to their and their family's life. Uh, that doesn't happen there. If you see the award functions there, the kind of sarcasm, the kind of humor that people have over their political representatives, it's something that might raise eyebrows for us to even see. We'd be like, oh. can she or he actually talk about that person in public like that? We can't, because as I told you, their houses are not pelted with stones after all this happens, and their lives are not threatened the way it happens here. If you see, I mean, I have not even passed any direct statement ever, because I always believe in calling out the sin than the sinner. Still, I have countless death threats on my social media, rape threats everywhere. So that I mean, that's become so normal for me to see that it's sad, but it doesn't even affect me anymore, because they're just so common and normal in any celebrity's life, especially female. So yeah, so that's the primary reason why Indian celebrities are always said that why don't you speak, because the audience here doesn't treat us the same way that the audience treats the actors there. So that's why the difference.
Any international movie artist who impresses you with his or her craft, and will we see you in any crossover film soon? Is that on the agenda?
Jennifer Lawrence, extremely good filmography. Uh, and apart from that, I mean, that's obviously Meryl Streep is someone who's regard. I mean, everybody will look up to. But Jennifer Lawrence in the younger actors, if I say, will be someone I mean, whose film I will look out for. And foreign on any film abroad, like I told you, I've never really planned acting industry, be it South or Hindi. It's not like I have a plan for Hollywood. But if I get an opportunity that I feel is worth my time, considering the kind of films I'm doing here, I don't mind trying. But I'm not going to go out there trying to forcefully accommodate it in my schedule just because it's Hollywood. No, I'm not going to be like that. And I one film that probably I will be a little adjusting, or I'll try to force fit in my schedule if I get it, will be Avengers. That's the only exception. I've been a huge fan of Avengers, and I've always probably in my dreams dreamt of being one, that having some superpower somewhere. So I would love to be a Indian female superhero in Avengers if possible in the future. That's the only film I would want to go an extra mile to try and get.
What do you feel about Robert Downing Jr.?
He's my huge crush. If you would have asked me about my crush, in the list, his name is at the top. And it's that kind of a crush that I just want to keep listening to him. I just want to go out with him, have a conversation, and just try and listen to him more. Uh, because it's just amazing. His sense of humor, his personality, his presence speaks volumes. So I think he's my topmost crush.
You like him as a Sherlock also? I mean, do you prefer him
I
over Benedict?
no, I actually find, I don't know why. Is it because probably I'm just so much in love with his personality that I see that real him in every role that he does. There's a certain kind of humor and presentation of his sarcastic humor, dry humor that is there, which is similar in all the characters that he portrays, is what probably attracts me the most. So I then the roles become insignificant in front of that. I just try to find that particular character sketch in every role that he does.
You have acted in Mulk with late Chintuji.
Hmm.
Your thoughts of him as a person, as a co-star, and as an actor, and the legacy he leaves behind.
Um, Legacy he leaves behind, I guess it's there for everyone to see. But I'll tell you again, I've been one of those lucky few who got an opportunity to work with certain actors that people have in their bucket list, be it with Chintu Ji or be it with Mr. Bachchan. These actors, people have their bucket list as, we want to work with them once at least in our career. And I've got an opportunity to work with them twice. Chintu Ji had a little briefly shared the screen space in Chashme Badur, very, very briefly. But then majorly in Mulk. And there was, even when he met me in Chashme Badur, it instantly, he, I think his, the typical Punjabi warm personality that he has, which might look boisterous from the outside, is actually how Punjabis portray warmth. Because they we are loud people. We love to like laugh loudly, talk loudly. We enjoy that. That's our way of living. Um, and I could instantly connected with that. I didn't feel intimidated with that because I have been born and brought up in a Punjabi household. So, and he was pretty amused with that because he never thought that a Sadarni could have worked in South before coming to Hindi. So that kept amusing him a lot. And again, that became a reason for a lot of conversations, how he felt that it's strange that I am already 10 films old before my Hindi film debut was fascinating for him, he told me. And then there onwards, when we met for Mulk, his way of complimenting was also like person would feel like, is he really complimenting me? Because the way he'll say it will be like, is he scolding me or is he complimenting me? But if you know him well, that's his warmth. That's how he shows love, because he'll say something to you in such an honest, in your face way that you'll think twice, okay, what was it exactly? But I'd worked with him this is the second time, so I realized that how his mannerisms or character sketch is. So I kind of got a little tuned to it. I mean, I have some really fond moments of, where the times when in the morning before going to shoot, he'll see me working out in the gym and he'll catch me and he'll be like, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" And he'll show me my own picture from Chashme Badur and say, "See, this is how you used to look. It was so good. Why are you reducing so much weight? What is this for? And why are you girls doing this?" So it's out of concern and love, but the way he'll scold you will be like, you get a little scared also, that why is he scolding you for something that is good. But yeah, so that's the connection. And so many times on the breakfast table, he'll have a lot of these advices given to me because of his experience in the industry. He'll have some amazing stories, and he was an amazing story narrator. Like he knows how to build up a story. So, and his experiences have so many stories that were there for us to know on the set. And yeah, so I think I still haven't. I keep telling people that I don't think this is quite gone down. This fact has gone down well with me so far, because we're in lockdown. We haven't really gone out and resumed work, so we don't know. I mean, I haven't felt his absence so far, so it's very difficult to believe that he is no more. So probably when we go out and start working and we don't see him around as often, it'll take time, and then it'll seep in that he is no more. So right now it's almost a feeling of disbelief.
Any male co-star or director you would want to work with seriously? Like you would pursue to work with because
I
you have
don't
not worked with.
No, I don't have a bucket list of co-stars. I never made that, and that has never been the criteria to do a film. Even when it was Mr. Bachchan, I was gifted with that opportunity. It was not like I had made a bucket list. But yes, I have a bucket list of directors, and out of all, I'll just say, on the top of the list has been Mani Ratnam. Since the time I have realized what acting is, or what this craft is, and how things happen on the set. And obviously, I've seen his films, and having worked in Tamil, Telugu, and Hindi, and these are languages he makes films in. I am like, I would love to do a film, even if he makes film in German or Spanish, I'll do it. So that's one director I really want to work with.
Any role that you have seen recently played by someone else who you thought you should have played? I mean, you sometimes you have that pangs that I should have played that role. So do you
I
have
think I would have been. I think I would have been a better Captain Marvel.
Okay, super. Um, you know, there is a question that is relevant for those who are still struggling to find their feet in Mumbai. How do you deal with failures in this glamour world? And is it tougher for women?
It is slightly tougher. Yeah, it is, because it's just tougher for women in general in life. And sometimes, you have to go through this statement thrown at you that, oh, you're gonna get it easy because you're a woman, which is actually even
Mhm,
tougher to go through, to hear that
mhm,
and to live with that.
mhm,
So it is slightly tougher, because it's tougher in general for women in most of the fields in our world. Other than that, I think, um, if you don't take yourself too seriously, and if you always believe that there is life beyond films and this is not the be all and end all of life, I think it won't be that difficult. For me, the biggest confidence booster was, as I told you, I never thought that films are the be all and end all of life of my life. I didn't limit my life to just films. So I know I can do much more in life. So if not this, I can do something else and I can make my life still worth it. So that doesn't force me to take some desperate decisions. So that kind of gives me a lot of confidence, and the fact that I don't take myself too seriously. You take your work seriously but never take yourself too seriously, because then you'll just have so much of vengeance in you that will make you bitter over a period of time, and probably make you not a likable person. Because here, of course, your talent will make you last and will get you work and sometime or the other, but also your real personality, how you are as a person, what kind of energy you give out around you matters a lot, which you'll know when you're struggling. Because the people, would do they really want to have you around on their set or no? All these things also matter. So I always tell people, always make sure that you have something else in life if this doesn't work out, and never take yourself too seriously, but take your work seriously.
You are a rank outsider who has made it big on her own. There's no doubt about it. So, does it give you a sense of achievement, but with a tinge of nervousness that you don't really have a family, filmy family to fall back on, or it's like you have reached a stage that it's no longer a concern?
No, nervousness is not at all there. It is obviously it's something that makes me feel proud and happy and satisfied, because when you can wake up every day and not get scared that this is gonna go away overnight because someone will pull away their support. That fear is not there, because there is nobody's support that has helped me reach where I am. So that fear has gone. Whatever I've achieved, big or small, has been totally on my own. There is no one who gets the entire credit of supporting me. I have great people who I've worked with who will help me reach here, but it's not like anyone takes an entire credit of everything that I've achieved. So that kind of makes me get up very confident and happy that whatever, big or small, it's mine. And when it hasn't been an overnight shot to fame or overnight success, it has been slow and steady and consistent. It doesn't drop down also immediately. I really will have to make some really strong consecutive mistakes for me to, as I told you, I'll probably have to think that I'm bigger than a film for me to see my downfall. So it grows very slowly, but then it helps you sustain and have a very strong base when you've achieved everything by yourself, and you have the confidence that nobody can take this away from you. I don't feel nervous. In fact, I feel very fearless of the fact that I don't have a family support here, because then I don't have to think about them before I take a decision to do something, take up a film or a role or say something, because I don't have a surname to protect. It's all made by myself and it's all me. I'll face the repercussions of it. So that's good that nobody knows who my mother or father is in the industry. It doesn't really matter, because they don't get the repercussions of whatever I do. It's only me.
So there is a surname to protect because Pannu is a very, very uncommon surname. So whatever we know of Pannu is just you. So that's
So
a
yeah,
joke.
from here onwards, whoever is Pannu has a surname to protect after me.
Yeah. So has the industry changed for better in the past decade or so that you have been involved with? And what more do you want it to change?
It has changed a lot from last 10 years when I started. If if I see my previous interviews in the beginning years of my career, people used to ask me, what will you do 5 years from now? And I was thinking, like, I hope I still keep getting films and leading roles, because I was constantly fed that a leading actress's shelf life is only for 5 to 6 years max. And only if you turn into someone as big as, a Shri Devi or someone that big, only then you cross a 10, 12 years or 15 year and you can come back or something. Otherwise, 90% of cases, it's only 5 to 6 years of shelf life of a leading lady. So when people ask me, okay, what will you do 10 years from now? I used to say, okay, maybe I'll be settled down with a family somewhere away where people don't really know me. That used to be my answer in all my interviews. In front of me, and I saw this happening when I started acting in Hindi, and I saw all these women doing some really wonderful roles and uh, films which were led by them, and audience suddenly started changing and they started receiving these films well. Everything changed in front of my eyes. in the last 5 years. So if you ask me now, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? I'll say I will keep acting till the time I keep getting the kind of stuff that excites me. It is not going to be basis my shelf life. My shelf life will be the number of years my audience wants to see me, and I keep getting these kind of wonderful roles. That's my shelf life. Nothing else will decide my shelf life. So yeah, so that has changed in front of my eyes, which is so fabulous. But yes, there's still a long way to go. That equality that we've been fighting for, that equal pay we've been fighting for, that box office number that we've been fighting for, the salary of a male actor is equal to the entire budget of a female driven film. All these things we are still fighting for, and honestly I'm not sure if I'll get to see the equality in my lifetime. But if I don't give up, and my other colleagues who are working towards it don't give up, maybe in the next generation we'll definitely see that equality.
Okay, to just make the mood lighter, when have you last been on an auto rickshaw in Mumbai or gone to buy veggies or groceries?
I've just gone to buy veggie or groceries 3 4 days back or so. I just walked out to get some tomatoes from the roadside rickshaw guy.
An
that's
auto
that's when.
rickshaw?
Auto rickshaw, I not that far actually. I have been very, I mean, I have used auto rickshaw quite often. When I had to do small distances here and there, or if my car is parked slightly away and I've gone somewhere else with a friend. I'm very comfortable with public transport most of the time because I spent most of my life using it. Metros are my go-to thing in Delhi. I have traveled in metros with my scarf covering my face for a very long time, even after Pink released and all. So I'm very comfortable with, especially autos in Mumbai. They are great. They really help you reach, from point A to B quick and very easily available.
So you are a Sardani from Delhi who almost does not drink and parties at home. Would you have some
Yeah.
respect for stereotypes? You're almost
Where's the
breaking the
respect for what?
stereotypes.
I've been abused so much for this. They're like, "ये किस तरह की सरदारनी हो? You don't drink." So I have. The problem is, I've not developed the liking towards the taste and smell of alcohol. So after years and years of trying all types of alcohol, I've finally come down to one or two types of wine, which is like 6 7% alcohol. And my sister and my friends make fun of it that it's a sharbat, it's not even alcohol. So stop calling it alcohol. So, but that's what I've finally come to, because I don't like I find it too bitter. It spoils my taste, and I'm like, why should I spoil my taste? And I don't enjoy that high. I'm as it is a hyperactive person. So when I get high, I become too calm and quiet and I go to sleep. So it's not fun to have me high in a party. So, and then I'm a morning person. I like to wake up early in the morning. I enjoy my morning. So after 10 o'clock, my alarm goes off in my head and I start looking dazed, and my friends are like, okay, let's just not take her out anywhere because she's going to be a party pooper. So that's, I'm not a night person is why. So all these things, but one thing is there as a Sardani, Delhi Sardani, that I think is very proud of is the food habits. I love eating. I love my street food. I live to eat. My mood is dependent upon the kind of food I eat. So that part of me as Delhi Sardani is very, very much intact. But the other things, not so much.
Waking up morning shouldn't be a problem for acting with Akshay Kumar, I'm sure, because you have shared screen space in Mission Mangal.
Not just acting. Acting is still easy because there are certain with a unit and all, you can only start for at a location at a particular time. You should ask about the
Meetings.
promotions and meetings. Yeah, because promotions, he would want to start the promotions at 7 o'clock in the morning. And the thing is, with him, he's a 4 a.m. morning person. I am a 7 a.m. morning person. There is a difference. And plus, I'm a girl, I need to get ready, which takes some time. He just wakes up, takes shower, wears his clothes, and walks out. I don't do that. So during Mission Mangal, I had to actually tell him, sir, sorry, we cannot go to a radio station at 7 a.m. in the morning because I'll have to get up at 4:35 in the morning, and then we have to talk the entire day. It's gonna be a disaster. And he's looking at me like, baby के time पे तो इतना नहीं मुंह खुलता था तेरा. So I'm like, someday at least I'll have to speak up, no sir. And because the other girls are like looking at everybody's face and they're like, who's gonna bell the cat? Who's gonna say this? So I just spoke. I said it.
Good. Okay, so just one word answers. Favorite destination?
Holiday destination, Maldives.
3 places in your bucket list, which hopefully you will do after the lockdown is over.
New Zealand, Miami. Mm, I want to go to. There is this island, Mykonos and Santorini. I would want to go. I'm more of a beach person, so most of my destinations will be like islands or beaches.
So you answered my next question, which is sea or mountain. So you're a sea person. A meal that you blew up your fortune.
So there's a restaurant which was rated as the world's best restaurant for consecutive years. It is in Copenhagen, called Noma. Now it's
No,
not. It was a three Michelin star
Michelin
restaurant
star.
back then. Yeah, so there, I think a juice menu there, a non-alcoholic menu there for two costed 50,000 rupees, which was the highest I've ever paid for a meal.
Super.
But I love to
2020.
eat.
Yeah. 2020 seems like a
Very difficult year. Very, very difficult year. Tough.
Thank you very much, Taapsee. It was really, really wonderful talking to you, and wish
My
you all
pleasure.
the very best. Wish you all the very best for the rest of the projects, which will hopefully you will resume after the lockdown is over. And
Hopefully,
see you
yes.
soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.